Hey guys, Drifter here. Welcome to Black Ops 2 In Depth. In today's episode, we're going to be talking about the Scar H assault rifle, which is admittedly an unpopular weapon online. You don't see this one being used a lot, and I think it has the potential to be one of the better weapons in the game if it were used properly. So, to start out my explanation of its proper use, let's start with damage, where we always do. The Scar H is a very, very high damage assault rifle, dealing 45 damage per shot in close quarters combat, but at a distance, which we're going to talk about in a minute, that's going to drop off to 24 damage per shot. This means it will kill between 3 and 5 shots, depending on your range, and it has a 1.2x headshot multiplier. The damage drop profile will drop it from 45 straight down to 33 after a certain range, and then 24 at a distance. The range is pretty heavy, and your 1.2x headshot multiplier means that it can be a 2-shot kill to the head up close, which many assault rifles cannot, and at longer ranges you'll save yourself a shot by doing some headshots. So I say that headshots are useful at most ranges, and because the gun has something of a vertical recoil pattern, you're going to be getting quite a few headshots anyway. I think that this weapon is good for going with headshots. The range, which is probably the most critical and important component of this weapon, is extremely high. This is probably the second highest ranged assault rifle aside from the SMR, and it's one of the highest damage ones. The 3-shot kill range on this weapon, or the range at which it's doing its absolute maximum damage, is 42 meters. And that seems a little bit arbitrary here in the description, but 42 meters is greater than that of the QBB LSW, and it's about the same of that of the Hammer and LSAT. The only weapon in the game that has a greater maximum potential range is the SMR and the MK48, and of course the sniper rifles. This gun has a colossal range. The 4-shot kill range, which is the range at which this weapon is still effective, is 75 meters. I didn't even try to explain this or show you places on the map that are 75 meters because the maps in this game have very few lines of sight that are even that long. You will almost never ever need 5 shots to kill with this weapon. Very rarely will it ever get outside of that 4-shot kill range. The range and damage on the Scar H is very similar to that of a light machine gun. The gun that it most closely mimics is the MK48 light machine gun, which is the highest damage, longest range one, and it's very similar to that one. It's actually better than the QBB LSW. Shoots a little slower, but the range and damage are better. It's very similar to the Hammer and the LSAT. This is kind of like an assault rifle and a light machine gun had a baby, and you get mixed properties of both. That would be the Scar H. So while I've been ranting about how awesome and amazing the range and damage is, there is one thing that's very bad about this weapon, and that's its RPM. It has a very, very low rate of fire of 600 RPM, meaning it is the slowest firing fully automatic assault rifle in the game. I put slowest up there. Yes, I know the FAL shoots slower. Yes, I know the SMR shoots slower, but those are semi-automatic weapons, and they're a little bit different. As far as the fully automatic weapons go, the spray weapons, the ones where you pull the trigger down and hold on to it, and the bullets just come out of the end of the gun until you let go or release the mouse button. This is the slowest. It's very slow firing. There are several light machine guns that fire faster than this, and secondary weapons. It's just a very slow firing weapon. There is another downside to counteract this huge damage and range aside from the rate of fire, and that's that the recoil is extremely high. We're going to swap over to a recoil test that I did here, and the standard way to test recoil in Black Ops 2 or any CoD game is you just shoot a wall. You keep your finger off of the thumbstick or the mouse so that you don't adjust the aim, and just do a raw no input spray. And we're going to start out with just the regular Scar H. I'm going to line up and shoot the wall here to give you a nice comparison. The recoil is mostly vertical, but it does wobble a little bit side to side, very annoying, but that's probably about the highest recoil that you can get on any assault rifle, and it happens pretty much every time. Not every recoil pattern is the same, but generally very vertical, very strong, hard to deal with. If you put a grip on it, I found that the grip helps a little bit with this particular weapon. I'm going to be redoing the grip testing for the next in-depth episode. It's still quite random, but in that randomness you do get a few more patterns like the one on the left where it's a little bit shorter and easier to control. However, if you put select fire on this weapon, the recoil is reduced remarkably so. It also helps you conserve your ammunition, and you're going to see me running select fire a lot in this episode. Select fire is my favorite attachment on the Scar H, and I think it makes it much more accurate and a much better weapon in general. Even though the damage and range is quite high, the time to kill is actually slow. In close quarters combat, it has a slow time to kill. At medium range, it's more like a slow to moderate time to kill, and at long ranges, it does compete and have a more moderate time to kill. It gets better over range, but overall the time to kill is slow. Even if you're getting a lot of headshots, it's just not a very fast killing weapon, and typically time to kill is one of the critical factors that I look at in a weapon to determine if it's good, bad, ugly, or something like that. In this case, time to kill very slow. slow, and that makes it what I would typically class as a bad weapon, which is somewhat concerning. But even despite this, for some reason, I still kind of like the gun. I think one of the main reasons I like it is because the iron sights are clean and easy to use. The iron sights aren't as nice as they were in, say, Modern Warfare 3 or Modern Warfare 2, but I do feel that they are very easy to use iron sights. The foresight and hindsight aren't particularly obtrusive. They're not the best in the game. I think my favorite iron sights are the MP7, but these are easy to use. However, they're not easy at long ranges. They're easy to use close to medium. Long ranges, you still would need an optic of some kind, ACOG, maybe hybrid sight, or I actually didn't like the target finder. Target finder just had a kind of funny feel with this weapon, but most of the time you're going to find me just using the iron sights. If you put a silencer on it, that's going to reduce the muzzle flash and make it all the more clear. The reload time is pretty average. I was expecting it to have a slower reload, because most big heavy guns do, but it's got a pretty average reload time, 2.34 seconds to go through the whole animation, and the reload cancel time, or the time at which the game takes to recognize that your magazine is in the gun, you can sprint forward at 1.42 seconds and cancel that and keep going, which is, you know, pretty normal. The knife speed is 1.22 seconds, barely slower than average. You'll probably never know it. Run speed is 95%. That's the same as all the other assault rifles. Even though this is technically a heavier weapon, you are still able to move at that particular speed. The raise and drop times, very standard for the assault rifle class, 0.7 seconds, 0.35 seconds. Aim down sights in and out times are a quarter of a second to aim in and a quarter of a second aim out. Very normal for the assault rifle class, nothing funny going on there. The hip fire is numerically, statistically average. It shoots a little bit slow, so it might be a little bit wonky for hip fire, but compared to all of the other assault rifles, it's just quite average in the hip fire department. There's nothing good or bad to say about it. It's just very normal. Magazine size is also exactly standard at 30 rounds. When you put extended mags on it, it goes up to 40. Extended mags isn't a bad attachment for this weapon, but I tend to prefer fast mags in general in this game, and I'll probably go for fast mags over extended mags. This weapon is best used at long ranges, which is, again, camping. I feel like most of the weapons that I've talked about on the previous in-depths have been long-range camping weapons, but that's what this weapon is definitely best for. You get the time to kill advantage and the accuracy advantages and all those sort of things at long ranges, sitting back, posting up, behind cover, that sort of thing. It's very poor at close range. A lot of the other weapons, I said, it has some kind of close range potential. This one does a little bit. If you get 2 headshots, it can kill kind of quickly, but not many people are able to do that, and the recoil is somewhat bothersome, and it has an overall slow time to kill, and it's just not a very good close range weapon. It's dangerous at medium range, it's dangerous at long range, it's just awful at close range. You don't want to be close with this weapon. That's why most of the time when I run this weapon, I have a TAC 45 as my secondary, so I can pull that out and drop somebody in 2 shots. That's my favorite. I like it better than the B23R, and I would recommend that if you do run the Scar H, a lot of the times you're going to want to pick up a submachine gun or have a pistol already ready, because it's just not very good at close quarters combat. There are 2 different classes that I'm going to recommend today for the Scar H, each one a little bit different. The first class that I'm going to recommend you want to run with Flak Jacket, Toughness, and Tactical Mask. That's basically going to make you a juggernaut. You're immune to flashbangs, stun grenades, explosives, and you don't flinch very much. This is kind of like a light machine gun class, because the Scar H is kind of like an LMG that lets you run a little bit faster. You're going to want to put Select Fire on it, because with the Select Fire engaged in burst mode, it is way more accurate, and you can peg people at long ranges pretty effectively. You can swap it back over to fully automatic for close range spraying, and if you've been watching the gameplay, you've been seeing me kind of leaving it in fully automatic, but when I get up into a building or a window or a place that I want to sit still for a minute, I swap it back over to Select Fire for more accuracy, and then when I move again, I go back to fully automatic, so it's okay. And you're going to want to run a silencer on it. The silencer penalty is very minimal. It doesn't hurt your range very much, and it's going to reduce the muzzle flash on your iron sights and allow you to see people more easily. I find that this is my favorite class with the Scar H, and when I use it, this is typically what I run. It's not a very aggressive class, but it does work. If you would like a more aggressive class with the Scar H, I built one of those as well. It's kind of like the standard aggressive class for assault rifles. You're going to want to run lightweight so that you move closer to 100% speed. You're going to want to run toughness again, because you're going to be up in people's faces and you really don't want your sights bouncing around when they're shooting at you. Instead of tactical mask, we're going to be running dexterity so that you can recover faster after sprinting and pull your gun up a little bit faster. The attachments that we're going to be running are grip. Not grip, I almost said that wrong again. The quick draw grip, the pistol handle quick draw, we're going to be running quick draw, the stock attachment, and the laser sight. Quick draw is going to allow you to aim down sights faster, along with dexterity. You'll be able to move very quickly. The stock attachment is going to allow you to sidestep faster, which is going to be very, very useful in close quarters engagement. And the laser sight helps you hip fire. And a little funny thing about the laser sight, it actually helps your aim down sights accuracy time a little bit. That's going to get its own in-depth episode, but it's a very nice little attachment. I'd recommend that you roll with that. Only downside of this class is that you don't get a secondary weapon, which is a little bit scary, but it does work okay. This one's more like a medium range class. If you think about a fencer, you don't want to get them up in your face. You can't get them too far away, but you can dominate medium range. The other one's more of a long range class. I'd recommend that you try both of them out. If you'd like to check out the previous episode of In Depth, which was on a weird glitch I found with the hybrid optics, you can click on the box on the left. That'll open in a new window. If you'd like to check out the next episode of In Depth, you can click the box on the right when it's live. I'm going to be retesting the foregrip. It's going to be a very long, very, very technical episode because I'm tired of getting weird conspiracy theories in my inbox, so I'm just going to do all the proof of that, and I'm probably going to be live streaming my testing later today. As always, if you enjoyed the content, don't forget to like, favorite, and subscribe. Drifter out.